Good morning or good afternoon, and welcome to another computer science tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be talking about how to make a program in which we use if and else. Alright, so let's get to it. Okay, so right here, I already have IntelliJ open, and in this comment box, I have the instructions. So Ryan just got his check for $350. And this week, he needs to use that check in order to buy groceries, gas, and to pay the car. Also, he wants to save money, at least 10% of the check in this occasion. Ryan wants to know how much he has left after all of his expenses and savings. If he has at least $20 or more remaining, he would like to go to the movies with his friends. But if he doesn't, then he has to hold on to that money to see if he can next time. So we're going to create a bunch of variables using the data that has been given to us in the beginning of the paragraph right here, in the beginning of the problem. We have to create an initial balance, a variable for each expense, for savings, and then one that's going to be constantly updated, which is going to be remaining balance. So after every single deduction or expense, we are going to go ahead and display the remaining balance after that expense. So we have to make the formula subtract that expense from the remaining balance. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing we have to do, as I mentioned earlier, would be to create variables. In this case, since we're talking about money, we need to make doubles because they are decimals, right? Double or float groceries. Double or float initial balance. And that will be equal to $350. And then we have the expenses, right? So we have double groceries. Let me show you a trick. You can create variables. If they're of the same type, you can create them side by side without having to type double again and again and again, like this. Gas equals 15, and car payment equals 180. So you see, there's no error there. So what I did was simply state that double all these double is the type of variable for all of these variables that I created here. And you see, I don't have to specifically say .0 because since it's a variable, automatically it's gonna recognize that it could also be a decimal number. Now, we also have double savings, which is how much? It says 10% of the check in this occasion. So it's 10% of the initial balance. So here we have, how do we get the 10% out of something? Well, first we have to convert it to a decimal value. 10% in decimal would be .10. So we got to multiply .10 or 0.10 times 350. And that would give us the total amount that is being saved out of those $350. So let's say initial balance, which is 350, times the decimal .10. That would be equal to savings. Now, we're also going to need a variable for remaining balance. We could create it here, but since we're not going to use it, let's wait until we need to use it to create it, okay? So let's start giving the interface to the program, which is going to be the output, the words, the what's explaining what's going on, okay? So system out print line and quotation marks. And the first thing that we need to show is print initial balance and print how much he saved. Alright, so Ryan's initial balance is dollar amount, and then concatenation, and then we put the variable which contains the value that we want. Perfect. And also we need to print out the savings. So right here we go ahead and saved. How much? Well, savings. Now that we've done that, let's run it and see what we get. Alright, so Ryan's initial balance is $350. He has saved $35. So how much should we have remaining? 350 minus 35 would be 315, right? So how are we going to let the computer know that? How are we going to print it out without having to manually write the number? Well, we have to create a variable. And this time, we need to create, this is the time now for creating the remaining balance. Because since he saved out of his check, now he has less to spend, right? So let's create a double remaining balance and let it be equal to initial balance minus savings. There we go. And now we have to print out how much is left. How much can he spend? Ryan can now spend total of, and we concatenate it with remaining balance because that's the amount that we want to show now. There you go. Now let's run it one more time. See? So Ryan's initial balance is 350. He has saved 35, so he can now spend only 315. So let's see if that is enough for Ryan. Now that you know that, now that you know how we did this part, try doing the rest. The same thing for groceries, gas, car payment, and remember that every time the remaining balance must be updated. Alright, so pause the video, go ahead and try that, and come back when you finish to check if you could have done it differently or in a shorter way. Alright, remember, sometimes it's just like a puzzle. It seems impossible until you do it. So go ahead. Alright, I hope you did it, and if you did, awesome. So let's go over it real quick. First things first, since we know we have to do the same process that we did here with the rest, then let's just copy paste it, right? So let me copy paste this, dang dang, and ta-dang. Alright, so now what do we have to print? Print every expense individually with the remaining balance in between each one. Alright, so just to let you know, I'm using copy paste now because we haven't still talked about loops, but we'll be talking about loops after a while. So we don't need this part over here. We're just gonna delete that real quick, and then we have yes, delete that. And now we have Ryan can now spend a total of this. Bum bum bum. So here we go ahead and change, instead of saved, he has spent in what? How much in what? Well, it says buy some groceries. Let's go with that one. So he has spent groceries, already has the amount. In groceries. Use concatenation on both sides as a variable. Now, in groceries. Dot. So remaining balance equals itself remaining balance. the value that it had before, right? So you had right here remaining balance, and now it will equal the previous value of remaining balance minus or subtracting groceries, the amount for groceries, which is $75, right? And now we will have the new remaining balance and we will print it out here. So let's check that out. You see? So Ryan's initial balance is 350. That's this part. He has saved 35 right here. We created a variable for the remaining balance and we did the equation right here, initial balance minus savings, and then we print out this part, and that's this. Ryan can now spend a total of 315. And then it keeps running and it says he has spent 75 in groceries. Look at here. And then we update the variable right here. Since the variable remaining balance was 315, here we're taking 315 here and subtracting from groceries. And then he has spent $75. And then this output would be Ryan can now spend a total of 240. Alright, so now that we have that with better shape, let's just grab this, copy, paste, and we have, this one is for gas, yes. So in gas, and over here we change the variable to gas, and the rest stays the same. Remember that for using a variable, updating it, equal and making it equal to itself minus something or plus something or multiply by something, we can use the shortcut right here. Okay? Minus equal, times equal, divided equal, stuff like that. And then we do the same thing over with car payment. Right here we copy this, and boom. And instead of gas, it would be car payment, car payment. And over here the same thing. Make sure that you write it exactly the same way that you initialized the variables. And then what do we have? So we already did this. We already did print initial balance, every expense individually with a remaining balance in between each one. Let's test it out to see if it's true. And here you go. So we have, he saved 35, then he has a total remaining. He spent 75, we subtracted it, and he has this now. He spent 15 in gas, we subtracted it from remaining balance, and now we have this. He spent 180 in the car payment, we subtracted it, and he still has $45 left. So here is where the other part comes in. This is where we start using if. Now to use if, we simply start with the word if. This is a keyword, yes, if. After if, we establish a condition. The condition is stated right here above. If Ryan has a remaining balance of $20 or more, $20 or more, print, Ryan can go to the movies with his friends because he has a total remaining of X amount. So if it's $20 or more, we gotta use the operators that you use in math because we have to check for equality. Alright, so if remaining balance, if he still has left at least 45 or more, so if remaining balance is greater than or equal to 20, then we open the brackets right here so that the computer know that everything inside these brackets is what's going to happen if this part is true. Okay? So if it's greater than or equal to 20, then we are going to print Ryan can go to the movies with his friends. Now, let's test it out real quick. And since Ryan now has a total of $45, we can see in the end right here, Ryan can go to the movies with his friends. Now let's say Ryan had less than $20. How can we make sure that of that? So let's say he started out with 315 instead. Alright, so let's put play now and see what happens. All the numbers and all these lines of code are going to change, except for the expenses. So now Ryan can only spend a total of 13.50. So that's not good. And you notice that the fact is that the if right here is not showing, because this is not true. So once the computer checks if this is true or not, and it finds that it's not, it's going to ignore the whole block here, everything between these curly brackets. Now if we want something to happen if that is not true, we need to state else, and if we have a specific argument or condition, then we say else if another condition. For example, if remaining balance equals 5, precisely 5, we put remaining balance equals 5. So equals is for verification, just verifying if it's equal to something. One equal alone is for assigning a value. So if I say remaining balance equals 5, I'm saying remaining balance is now, the new value of remaining balance will be 5. But this is what I want, to check if it is 5, which is different, okay? So, but let's look at what is asked of us here. So if Ryan has less than 20, then print Ryan has to hold on for the next time, because he has a remaining balance of X amount. Alright, so if we already said that it's bigger or equal to 20, if remaining balance is more than 20 or equal to it, then the other option, the only other option that we have, unless we want to specify, would be lesser than 20. So since it's obvious, we don't have to specify it. So we go like this. And we say Ryan has, wait, quotation marks, very important. Ryan has to hold on to the money and see if he can go next time. There you go. And here we have used if and else. Now, very important. Inside if and else, we can have, oh, by the way, there's something here. He has a total remaining of, you see? So we could put here because he has a total remaining of, and then dollar symbol right here, and then remaining balance. There you go. Same thing with the else, right? So let's just take this, copy, paste, and then boom, boom. There you go. Alright, so now if you wanted to add another decision inside one of these, you can. That's called a nested if. So let's say that if Ryan has even less than 20, let's say if Ryan has $10 or less, then he is crying. Ryan is crying. Okay, so let's go over here, say if remaining balance is lesser or equal to 10, you see? And look at this, we are inside the else, right? We are inside the if else, we're inside it right now. So if this is true, the only thing running would be this line. But if it's false, everything from the else will be running, including this if this condition is also true. Okay? So now it's like a whole different pathway. Okay, So now we are going to say right here, Ryan is crying. So his mom gave him $20. Ooh, nice, right? So now what do we have to do? We have to add. We have to add to remaining balance is now equal to what? To itself plus 20. Yeah. And now we print out the total remaining. Caching. You now have plus remaining balance. There you go. Try running that. Here it is. Ryan has to hold on to the money and see if he can go next time because he had a total of 13.5 remaining. Now let's see if he has less than 10. So let's take away at least $5 and say he has 310. And now let's run it again. Doom. So the end. It says Ryan has to hold on to the money because he now has $9, right? So Ryan is crying. So his mom gave him $20. Cashing. You now have 29. So you can go to the movies. All right. Notice that it doesn't say that you can now because remember that all programs from top to bottom and not the other way around. All right. I hope this video was pretty useful and you learned something throughout it. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or doubts, please let me know via email. You'll have my email in the assignment section. And happy programming. Have a nice week.